Sing.
Sync.
Hello, everyone. This is Roxas1359, joined with
ShadowJoe323.
And finally bringing you guys that episode I promised I don't know how long ago, the Heal Your Chi skill point for getting all of the crystals on planet Tabora. Now, the first time I ended up showing up on planet Tabora, I had gotten 30 of the crystals, so there are only 70 of them remaining in the desert. So pretty much just like how the Gremlin video was set up and how some of the other post-commentary stuff has been, I decided to bring somebody on with me, and this time I brought on ShadowJoe, who was also in, I believe it was, what, episode 5 of the first Ratchet Clank?
I don't know the number, I just remember it was on the planet with the woodcutters.
Yeah. I think that was episode 5, actually. Could be wrong. So pretty much, yeah, it's been a while since we've done this, and just to give you guys clarification, we've run into recording problems before, so this is the third time that we're doing this. Go us.
Yep.
So,
well, technically fourth, but that only was 16 seconds because I forgot to hit play on the video.
Yeah, that was only 16 seconds. We don't talk about that one.
Yeah.
So,
not anymore.
Yeah. So, anyway, right now, pretty much for the desert, there are a few things to keep in mind. For all the crystals going around, there's the giant bugs. They count as also having a crystal, and then you'll find the crystals right there. If you want to make this go by smoother, and you can come back later if you want, you can simply just get the mapper that you get on planet Demosel after you do the Demosel Orbit Giant Clank section, and that will actually show you on the map where all of the crystals are in case you want to do that. I decided to do this a lot earlier. As you can see, I still have the second armor of the game. Ugh. So, anyway, I asked Joe to possibly have some questions you might want to ask for me, so shall we start with those?
Yes, this is the third time, so we probably talked about a few of these. But I'll start off with the subject of you redoing some Let's Plays, like Spyro 1.
Ah, okay. I remember for my first anniversary, I said I was going to be redoing some Let's Plays over the course of the year. Obviously, I did not keep up with that. Except I will be doing one of them. Pretty much after my second anniversary, I'm going to be redoing certain Let's Plays. There are certain requirements for them, though. They have to have used my old mic or the webcam mic in the case of Spyro 1. They have to have been entirely recorded with my Dazzle. And they have to have used my old editor, which was Pinnacle Studios 15. Obviously, that narrows it down to a few games right there. The games that are going to be redone pretty much for that, it probably would have been easier for me to, you know, just say those, are Spyro the Dragon, Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, Mega Man Legends 1, Ape Escape 1, that one I'm actually quite interested in redoing, Crash Bandicoot 1, god damn it, and Sonic Adventure DX. So I'm going to be redoing those. I do have the HD version of Sonic Adventure, but I want to do the DX ports on the GameCube for two reasons. The first one being that I have GameCube component cables, and the second one being that there are a few glitches in the HD port that I cannot stand. So, yeah, for Spyro 1, actually expected before my second anniversary, or possibly on my second anniversary, which is going to be on June 21st. But for the other ones, I'm not going to be doing those until afterwards, until after the Summer of Shit block is done. So, yep, that's the main thing that's going on with those.
Okay, on the top, while we're on the topic of redoing Let's Plays, this feels so redundant because we've already talked about this twice, but,
I can bullshit new ways to say it, believe me!
Yeah, I do.
I'm good at that!
So, Final Fantasy X.
Ah, yes, Final Fantasy X. International in this case. I am going to be redoing that one. The main reason why I didn't redo it as soon is because one of the things about me is that I can't really play too many JRPGs at once, otherwise I sort of just like get bored of them. Because normally, in all honesty, I only do 1 to 2 JRPGs a year when I'm playing it, just from start to finish on my own. And after that, it just gets kind of boring. I don't know why that's like that for me. But in the case of Final Fantasy X, originally when I was doing the international port, a lot of things just got in the way, and I just decided pretty much to make it private, and then afterwards, Square Enix actually put on a third-party content ID match for the intro music that actually plays on the title screen when you leave it idle before you get to the main title screen of Final Fantasy X. So I just used that as an excuse to pretty much delete it, because I also didn't like how the commentary was going for it. I am going to be starting that up again, and I'm going to be doing the HD port of it, which is the international, because at that point I just decided I'm going to wait for the HD to come out.
Yeah, especially since they announced a release date just as you started it.
No, they hadn't announced the release date yet. They put more news on it. They hadn't exactly announced the release date yet, and I still remember that vividly because I had just imported Final Fantasy X International, and I was pissed off because of the fact that they finally announced news on it after it had been dormant for so long.
Yeah.
But then again, that is the story of my life when it comes to importing from Square Enix.
Yeah.
Something's telling me the moment I say, I'm going to be LPing Final Fantasy XII International, suddenly Final Fantasy XII International HD Collection. God damn it, Square!
How would they even do it? Well, Revenant Wings, I guess, actually. For a collection.
Well, yeah, they could. I actually never thought about that. They could actually do a port and then do a Revenant Wings sort of thing. I wouldn't mind that, actually. Revenant Wings wasn't too bad, but it's not my favorite from the E-Release timeline.
I know absolutely nothing about it. Oh, actually, maybe they could, like, bundle Final Fantasy XII HD with Tactics in, like, remastered or something with 3D models. That'd be pretty cool.
If it was a Tactics sort of thing, I'd honestly just go for a Tactics full-on HD collection because there's so many of them.
Well, yeah.
And then just have Final Fantasy XII be a little bit separate because that I wouldn't mind. Like, they are in the same timeline, but I think it'd be better just to keep the Tactics in a Tactics bundle. Heck, I'm still waiting for a freaking Ape Escape HD bundle, for God's sakes.
Oh, yeah. And Ape Escape 4, if that ever happens.
It's been told of before. I'm sure it'll be released. I'm sure it'll be announced the same day The Last Guardian gets released.
Announced the day The Last Guardian gets released, or released when it gets released?
Announced the day it gets released. I have no hope on the goddamn thing at this point.
No release date, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
20XX.
Yeah, pretty much. I honestly, at the rate it's going, 21XX.
20XX.
We're going full on Mega Man X on this thing right here.
Exactly.
X is gonna be playing that game before we play it. Who am I kidding?
Not even 20XX. XXXX. Just 4 X's.
How is humanity still alive? So,
the year 9,999.
Yeah. So, anyway, with the topic on for that, one of the other questions that I've actually gotten, actually a few times, actually, Joe, is that how am I going to be doing the rest of the Final Fantasy series, and how I'm going to be, and which Final Fantasy games am I going to be doing in general. When it comes to the order of them, really, it does not matter for the numbered ones. Heck, I'm starting with X, for God's sakes. And that's because they don't really have... all the numbered Final Fantasies are not interconnected with their stories. Some of them have an extended universe, but not all of them do. So,
like Final Fantasy X2 before X.
Oh, no, that'd be terrible. On two different fronts. For one, I don't like certain... I hate trying to get 100% in that game, and knowing my OCD, I'd be trying to get 100%. And two, X just did so much better, especially with Blitzball. But pretty much, I'm going to be doing the Final Fantasies really in any order I choose. My main goal is to do all of the numbered Final Fantasies, and that includes my two pretty much hated ones, which are Final Fantasy II, Japanese Final Fantasy II, mind you, and 13. And I don't know, I might do Extended Universe. I probably will end up doing Extended Universe for, like 13, 2, and 3 if I ever get bored, but really, I don't see it as necessary as much for me.
Wait, 13 was the other one you didn't like? I thought it was 8.
No, 8 is on... 8 I like the story at least somewhat, that's the thing. 13 I don't like because... Especially when going from 12, which was very open-ended and actually rewarded you for sequence breaking, to the first 13, you cannot deny that that was linear. 13-2 fixed that a lot, I have to admit. But the first 13 was too linear, and I hated most of the characters. Like,
I don't know what you mean about it being too linear. I mean, a whole disc of non-linear gameplay? That's pretty non-linear, man.
Especially when it's 20 hours into game!
I know.
Wait, no, actually...
35 or so.
Yeah, actually it's 35. Because on the 360 version, that's disc 3, isn't it? That you get to Grand Pulse?
Yep. As soon as you start disc 3, Grand Pulse. Here you go, have fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You get to Grand Pulse on disc 3. That's not a selling point. Now, Final Fantasy VIII, the problem I have with that is I don't like the gameplay for it. It's the same problem I have with 2, actually. The gameplay and the story don't match up. So that's the main problem with that. So pretty much to summarize for the Final Fantasy thing, doing them in any order they want. Probably after after I do Final Fantasy X, I might on a whim do 10-2, so then I just get, the 10 saga out of the way. But in all honesty, I'll probably end up just doing another Final Fantasy. And when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, which has one of the largest extended universes for it, I am going to be doing those. But instead of based on timeline-wise for the game, I'm going to be doing that based on release date for it. So I'm going to be doing 7, then I do Dirge of Cerberus, then I do Crisis Core. So
Advent Children.
Yes, I play Advent Children on YouTube and get a big fat copyright strike.
You play the main menu.
It is interactive, and then I do Crisis Core for the last one. I love Crisis Core. When it comes to Before Crisis, I have no way of really recording a cell phone game, so probably no Before Crisis.
You could use a camcorder.
God, no.
I know.
God, no. That'd be terrible. Alright, so shall we move on to our next topic as I'm just murdering easy targets with my loving gun.
We were talking about Ape Escape a little while ago. I wanted to ask about Big Mission and when you're gonna put the translated version on YouTube.
Ah, okay. So, after Ape Escape 3, I pretty much said the next Ape Escape game, that's the main one I'm doing, is going to be Ape Escape Big Mission, or Saru Saru Dai Sakusen, as the actual name is. The thing about that one is it was only released in Japan, and it's only in Japanese. Now, that wouldn't be as much of a problem for translating it, but the main problem I have is that the CG cutscenes that are in the game actually do not have subtitles, and there are no subtitles to enable in the game, making this actually one of the only Ape Escape games that actually doesn't offer subtitles. The Chinese version of it does have Chinese subtitles, but I don't know Chinese, so we're kind of SOL on that one.
Take a few years off and learn Chinese.
Yeah, I'm only a Japanese major. Why not learn Chinese? But for that one,
go for Korean too while you're at it.
Oh god, that'd actually be very beneficial, but I'd also probably be studying languages for 20 years. The main thing about Big Mission is that I want to make sure that everything is as accurate as possible. All of the dialogue that is in text boxes, I can easily translate that. In fact, I've done that because Natalie, or as she is in Japanese, Natsumi, she will actually, she has text bubbles, and like most Ape Escape games, after you beat the Freaky Monkey 5, she'll say something. I've translated those before. I know what they are. And the main problem is the cutscenes. I just need to really sit down and go through them as many times as I can to do the translations for it. So,
and there are no game scripts either, right?
There are no game scripts that exist for Big Mission, no. So I'd be doing this all by hand and all by myself most of the time. So that's the main problem I have. It is doable. I can do it. It's just going to take a lot of time. Maybe I'll do it during the summer of shit. While that's going on, I'll sit down and I'll start doing it because it'd make good practice. But then there's other issues I've hit with that when it comes to translation. Some of the things, and it's mainly something that Monkey Red says. I've been trying to figure this out for like the last year and a half. There's something he says during his boss fight that I can't not for the life of me decipher what he's saying. I don't know if you've ever have you ever seen One Piece?
Nope.
Well, in One Piece, in the sub on the Ennis Lobby arc with Frankie versus I forget the member of the CP9 battle. One of the most famous things I remember is that there was a translation that the fan translators couldn't do for the episodes. And it's when he gets punched by Frankie's powered-up fist, and pretty much the guy faints and he goes, Dodoeba. And that was left in there as him saying that in the subtitles. That's the similar thing I'm sort of getting with this monkey red thing. And it annoys the living heck out of me, because I think it's in katakana, and I know it's something, but I just can't decipher it.
I have no idea what you just said about One Piece.
I'm pretty sure those who have watched One Piece, I think they know what they're talking about for the Enies Lobby arc. Anyway, actually, if you just notice on screen, I actually ended up upgrading my mini turrets into the Mega Rockets, and what ended up happening was I actually switched to my wrench the moment that it actually upgraded, and what ended up happening is it didn't do the animation for it. You can actually cancel out the animation if you end up switching to the wrench right as the weapon's about to upgrade. It's very finicky timing, and I did not mean to do that. Whoops. But anyway, back onto the Ape Escape big mission thing, since, you know, squirrel. Pretty much, I guess you can probably expect it this coming year, to be quite honest, because I do want to get to big mission, because I do like it. It actually, after playing through it twice, because I have an LP of it on Game Anyone, I will say that it is actually one of my favorite Ape Escape games.
Speaking of Ape Escape, when are you going to do Million Monkeys?
Million Monkeys is done after Pumpkin Prime, because, and this is where the Wikipedia article messes up, and I really should change it. It lists Pumpkin Prime as part of the main series. It isn't. And it lists Million Monkeys as the spin-off. The thing is, Million Monkeys continues with story elements that were presented and first put up in with Pumpkin Prime. So I do need to change that. The reason why I haven't done Pumpkin Primed yet is because I need to get together with the Afro Battler, because pretty much when I'm doing Pumpkin Prime, I'm going to pretty much do close to every single character I can. I'm going to be doing a Scarlet Equinox run with the Afro Battler. I'm going to be doing a Game Anyone run, and then for YouTube, I'm doing the two characters that actually have plot importance in the story, which are Helga and the Pippatrons. Spike and everyone else are honestly just side characters. Helga and the Pippatrons are actually what the story is mainly about. So I'm going to be doing those for YouTube.
What's Pumpkin Prime like? Isn't it like, I don't know the genre, really. Is it like the others?
No, it's not. It's actually like a party game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's a tournament-like party game. I guess, actually, if you want to go for a comparison, Budokai.
Ooh.
Think Budokai. Somewhat, only it's not as good as Budokai. Nothing.
Like the story mode, you mean, or?
Well, what you have is you have a bunch of different challenges that you can end up doing, a la how it's like for Mario Party. Only what you end up doing is you end up going through the tournament, and you unlock more mini games and bosses and everything the more story mode you do. There's intermissions that actually end up playing for some of the during certain points in the game. And that's where the intermissions are where like plot important stuff for Helga and the Pippatrons are somewhat stated, which is why I'm doing the Pippatrons and Helga for YouTube, because they are the most plot important one. Now, when it comes to Million Monkeys, the plot important ones, there's Team... Technically, it's called Team Kakeru, which would translate to Team Spike, and then I want to call it Team... I want to say it's Team Spectre. The thing about that game is it's like Million Monkeys is like how Big Mission is. There is no script for it. There is no script for it, and god dang, are there a lot more cutscenes. My god. And there's actually a fun little note I'd like to say about Million Monkeys. Million Monkeys is actually the game that caused me to first want to start to learn Japanese. It actually was not Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus, which was my first ever imported game. The first game that I ever even attempted to try Japanese and that I tried to learn Japanese and decided I wanted to learn it was Million Monkeys.
That's cool.
So, yeah, so that's a little bonus thing for that. In all honesty, I'm actually surprised I've never done a Million Monkeys videos or anything for test quality on it. I think I tried one time with my Blue Yeti when I started, but I just never did do it.
Yeah, didn't you do a test video on Pumpkin Prime, I think?
I did a test video on Pumpkin Prime for a couple of things, yes. I did do that. I think that was back when I first got my HDMI my composite to HDMI converter, but I don't really need to use that anymore because my Elgato can actually capture a lot more than my HD PVR ever could. And in fact, I could actually, if I wanted to, record Atari 2600 games if I had a mono input for it. So I don't really need to use it anymore, so I can use it for something else. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Alright.
You could play E.T. on the Atari.
I do not have it. Mr. B, a Dragonite, actually does.
Wait, a physical copy or an emulator?
Yeah, he has a physical copy on his Atari 2600, actually.
Wow.
And I have played it. I remember we went over to his house. I think it was his birthday 2 years ago, and it was me, the Afro Battler, Link's Paradox, Mr. B, a Dragonite, and Mr. B, a Dragonite's brother. We just decided, why don't we play some terrible indie games that are on the 360 as well as some terrible old games, and they brought out E.T. for the Atari 2600, so we decided, why don't we play that? And god dang, it hurt my eyes. Like, it literally gave me a headache because of how it looked. That's why I'm not doing it for the summer shit. It hurts my eyes. Ugh. So, any other questions relating to possibly Million Monkeys or anything, or do you want to change the subject?
No more Ape Escape. I have to say that was all my questions, but I did just think of one on the fly. So are you going to wait for 2.5 remix of Kingdom Hearts when you do that, or are you just going to go for Final Mix Plus or whatever?
I'm doing the PS2 version of Final Mix Plus. That was always my intention to do that. And for me, it's more because that was the first ever game I imported, and there is a full-on patch for it. There are certain grammatical errors that are in it that I know the kh-video.net, they're currently working on that, because I remember I was talking with the team for them. Pretty much, I'm going to be doing the PS2 version of it. I'm going to try to run it on my PS2, because when I got my new PS2, I was unable to transfer over my flip-top cover, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to run it on my PS2 to make sure it runs, because the problem with the when it was occurring in Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories was that the disc would stop spinning, but the console would not stop, and then the disc drive would start up again. And I'm afraid that might end up happening during Kingdom Hearts 2, but I don't know for sure.
Well, are you going to do that for Birth by Sleep Final Mix?
Birth by Sleep Final Mix, I'm actually going to be doing the 2.5. For the main reason I'm doing the 2.5, I do have Birth by Sleep Final Mix. I imported that one before when did I import that one, actually? I remember. It was during the time in which I was actually doing the Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix LP that Birth by Sleep Final Mix finally became cheap enough for me to import. Because for the longest time it was $70, and I wasn't going to pay $70 for a handheld game. Silly me.
Plus, translating it would be tough.
Not as much. The main thing I always have a problem with when it comes to translating is, do I have enough room to leave both the Japanese text and still put the English text in case any Japanese viewers are possibly watching it? In my first Final Mix, I made the mistake of overlapping it, but then I decided to stop doing that because I realized there might be people from other countries who might want to watch. So that's why I started doing that. It's going to be a problem when I end up doing the One Piece Unlimited Cruise series. I know that for a fact, because they do not leave me any room to translate. Like, any, and it's annoying. But
what do you mean?
The text boxes that are in the game, for how the text is for the Japanese, it is very crunched together, so I can't put the English text like in between it so then people would be able to read it. And I don't want to put it on the screen because during the screen it would block people during cutscenes, and I don't like doing that.
Couldn't you put it at, like, you could make a border at the bottom and put the text there? Kind of like the cutscenes in Final Fantasy XII?
I guess I could. I need to test more out on it, really, because it's been a while since I've actually been playing the Unlimited Cruise series, so I actually need to test that out. But pretty much the reason why I'm going to be doing Birth by Sleep Final Mix on 2.5 more is because I get to play with a goddamn PS3 controller.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't mind the PSP, but I don't like developing hook fingers as if I'm a goddamn spider splicer.
Yeah, plus PSP load times without installation.
surprisingly, even without installation on it, Birth by Sleep and Birth by Sleep Final Mix are actually not that bad.
I don't really remember it that bad in Birth by Sleep 1.
It's not that bad for Birth by Sleep. The game that's probably the worst is Ape Escape on the Loose. My god, I've never seen such worse loading times.
Oh yeah, now I remember. For a second I didn't know what that game was. I forgot they remade it.
Yeah, Ape Escape on the Loose and Medieval Resurrection actually have pretty bad loading times, and I don't understand why they do. I never understood why the PSP had such terrible loading times, because it made no sense. The system is more powerful than the PlayStation 1, and is the first handheld, and pretty much considered one of the first consoles that can stream music. Which is another reason why I still fault Capcom. Why did you bit crunch the 32-bit music for Mega Man Legends remakes? God have mercy. But I never understood why the load times were so bad for it. Was it because the graphics were too intensive for it? And in cases of, like, Ape Escape, in which there's a loading screen in between every area you go to, while on the PS1 it just instantly loads, is just terrible. Now I probably will eventually do On the Loose, but oh my god, that loading time. But going back to the Kingdom Hearts original thing for it, I'm doing Birth by Sleep Final Mix's main thing. I'm gonna be doing it by using 2.5, but the thing is, I'm not doing Birth by Sleep after I do Kingdom Hearts 2.
You're gonna do it, like, after...
After 358 over 2 days.
Oh, so before Kingdom Hearts 2, or... Wait.
I'm doing... After Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus, after I finish that, I'm doing 358 over 2 days.
Oh, okay.
The reason is because in the Final Mix version of the game, there is cutscenes that are in the special secret episode that was added in for the end of the game that will spoil some plot events. In fact, spoil the ending of 358 over 2 days.
Oh, no.
It's the entire reason why I'm doing Birth by Sleep Final Mix after 358 over 2 days. That's the whole reason. Now, for 358 over 2 days, I just need to learn how to effectively remove the bit-crunched Kingdom Hearts 2 music and replace it with the actual ones, because the bit-crunched ones make me cry.
Are you gonna, change the cutscenes to the 1.5 cutscenes when you...
I've been debating about that. I might just do that. It depends on which ones. Because I did upload all the Japanese cutscenes onto Game Anyone, but the intro is a bit different. You don't have the little, comment profiles and everything like how you had for the ones for the HD re-releases cutscenes, because they would show up on the bottom screen, and some of them were actually kind of funny. That's why I'm like, do I want to keep that in, or do I want to do that? I suppose I can replace... I'll have to think on how it does, because when it comes to recording handheld games, when I put them in my editor, it is very intensive. It's more intensive than any console game, for sure. And mainly this is just applying to the 3DS and regular DS games. Because... my god, the amount of cookie cutter I have to use and the amount of editing I have to do on that, as Triple Deluxe has taught me. Oh boy. Because I've been recording Triple Deluxe. Much to no one knowing.
Are you gonna Let's Play it?
Yeah, that's why I'm recording it. That's why I'm recording it. I love Triple Deluxe. I highly recommend it. I got that day one. I really love it.
I planned to get it day one, but I was on vacation in Florida when it came out, and I had to send my 3DS XL in for repairs to get a scratch removed and dead pixels.
How'd you get it scratched?
I don't know. It scratched itself.
Huh.
Well,
That's
it did
weird.
scratch itself. But, the reason I had to get an XL was because my original 3DS had a huge, pretty much a scratch. I was about to say a scratch in the middle of the screen.
How are you getting scratches on your screens like
Dude,
that?
I don't know. It's on the top screen too. And
Have you been playing Gen 4 and just making poffins like crazy? God, those poffins destroyed screens. Thank God I had an original DS.
No, it's on the top screens though.
Okay, that's even weirder.
I know, because I never touch the top screen unless I'm, like, wiping away something on the screen. And that's with the side of my hand, not my nails.
Huh. So, anyway, back on to, Ratchet Clank, which we've effectively ignored for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm looking for the last 2 of the crystals. And, please note, actually, this footage, the reason why this is still in, is because this was originally recorded because we were originally doing live commentary in the first one that we had to scrap. So I just decided, okay, obviously since it auto-saved, I can't really do anything about it, so I edited it together, and that's why we're doing the post-commentary for it. I do quite like it, too. It actually helps out, and possibly for future projects, since I can't meet with Afrobattler and everyone later on.
Yeah.
So Scarlet Equinox can finally get more content!
Yeah.
And I've also said that I'm going to be doing some little Let's Plays for them that I haven't done on either Game Anyone or on YouTube, so that's going to be fun for them. But pretty much, yeah, we're nearing the end. The main thing, I noticed that there was a giant gray blob section, so with this we have 69 crystals, which means we only need 1 more, and then the skill point will be ours, and then we'll be done.
And rich.
Yay! Well, rich until I end up buying the weapons, because it was in this episode that I originally bought the Devastator. No, not the Devastator. The Devastator is not in this game. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of the mini-tube rocket gun. This is the episode in which I initially bought it, which is...
So you will be temporarily rich.
Temporarily rich, as in I was rich in the past. At this point right now, I have everything else really recorded. I just need to edit it together. So we're just about done. I'm going to be closing out the project probably tomorrow, in all honesty, because I pretty much want to just finish this. And there you go. That is the skill point for getting all 100 crystals in Planet Tabor's desert. The what is it called again? Heal Your Chi. Of course, I should just look at the title of this video. Duh.
I just realized we didn't even mention sewer crystals at all.
Nope, because we still have some time left. Pretty much, I'm gonna be having Joe return when we do the sewer crystals. I'm probably also gonna have other people come with us, Joe, so then we don't all go god dang insane. But
I do not blame you.
Nope.
For those of you who don't know, sewer crystals are up your arsenal.
Yep, and it is even worse than Gremlin. So anyway, guys, we're going to end it off right here. This has been Roxas1359.
And ShadowJoe323. And the video just ended. So we're going to have a little black at the end.
And don't worry, we can have it. And don't worry, we can have it go black for a bit.
Yes.
See you guys next time.
Bye.